And we're back at it again with another live one for all of you Bi-Conics fanatics out there. And welcome to another edition of the Bi-Conic Review of Honor, otherwise known as Bro.
Bro.
We
got two bros here.
Yes, the broskies are back for this one. I am Mikey, and I am joined once again by JVL, my other broski, my bro, my bruja, my bra.
I'm not your bra, brah.
You technically are my bra because you emotionally support me like a push-up bra.
It's very true. I definitely do. But Mikey, since we are reviewing ROH tonight, we do have to start the night just like every ROH match. Hand in, code of honor.
Yes.
Perfect. It works really well. and Mikey, how are you feeling about this? This was a long freaking show.
I was lied to once again, but you know what? Like, for the matches that weren't advertised, I was just like, for the most part, and I say most part, I feel that this is actually pretty okay. There are a couple of nitpicks I have. We may or may not get into it with the Claudio promo because, like, we have two different viewpoints. We kind of agree on some things, but we'll get into that. The wrestling was a lot of fun.
Mikey and I have a disagreement. Who wants to see us have a disagreement? Come on.
I mean, that's going to be the fun part is when we fight. But I save all my fighting for pay-per-views because that's when we have the most hot takes. Because
it's true. But Mikey, I'm feeling fancy, fresh, new t-shirt from last time being with you. You're wearing the same one. So obviously you haven't changed, but don't ever change. We love you dearly. Mikey, I'm going to ask you this. When you're booking an opening match for any type of TV, anything else, do you have a specific way you like to start it off, or are you just kind of looking for what randomly could work? Because I think they may have found some sort of like special sauce to start off a show really well for this week.
Well, of course. And you know, if you've been following this for a little bit with these Ring of Honor reviews, you probably know what I'm going to say. Obviously, you have, from a booking perspective, you want to start with a very high octane spot fest of a match to get the crowd invested, especially if you have to sit the crowd for who knows how long these tapings are, because we get the edited version, kind of.
Well, and this one was obviously done on a Wednesday with Dynamite, so it was longer than usually with Collision. So this was intense.
This is out of control, but you know it.
But they started this one off with a bang, Mikey. They did it right. They had hot luchador on luchador action, and you had two surprisingly strong luchadors, not just both with their flippy dippy stuff, but also physically strong because of how big they are.
I'm like, well, I mean, let's be real. Gravity is kind of atypical when it comes to being a luchador. I mean, he's the man from space. His spine is probably all messed up from the lack of gravity.
It's true. He trains at higher gravities, therefore he flies without gravity.
And then you got Gringo Loco on the other side, who's like him and Willie Mack. Like they got lost, and they decided to go train as luchadors because those are some of the most, outside of Keith Lee and some other folks, those are the most agile luchador type big men I have seen in my life. And my question to Jerry Lynn and Stokely and Maria and Tony, why have we not signed a Gringo full time? Just saying.
They already have a crazy white guy, Roderick Strong. He's on AEW Dynamite, so they're working their way back to get us.
He's Creator Wrestler 15. He doesn't count.
I know he doesn't count. Mikey, this match had so many big spots that I thought this could have been the place where the move of the night and the moment of the night could have happened right out of the gate. They blew their load really early, but to go through some of them, there was an amazing cannonball into a flipping arm drag, which then got to a full standing stalling splash 2 count. Really great there. We had your move that I know you liked a lot, which was the Vikingo splash that Gringo did, where he was on the second rope with like straddling the top, double jumped, and then flipped over right onto gravity out there. There was the launching Hurricane Rana that basically went over the turnbuckle down the full amount of space and then full on Hurricane Rana. And we had a couple of big luchador botches where gravity got smushed by the full weight of Gringo Loco.
He got that twice, and I was like, oh, gravity died. Oh, now he's back. Oh, he died again. Oh, No, he's back.
He was
I
definitely, it was hurting him.
This is gonna be like a crazy out there idea. I was just like, I'm not saying Ring of Honor needs to add titles. So I was like, can we just get like a luchador slash cruiserweight slash let's get all the people who do spots and throw them in a division? Like,
You mean like a cruiserweight division?
well, see, I want to say cruiserweight, and I'm not trying to fat shame people here. I'm like, Gringo, how, like, listen, as a big guy myself, I'm like, Gringo, I know how hard it is to work and do the crazy stuff you do because we're literally both built different, as the kids say. So I'm like, I feel like we need to stretch the rules a tiny bit, but like, literally, if you can do crazy acrobatics and just spot fest, I'm like, you're in. I'm like, I don't care about size because
Totally,
there's
and including an almost move of the night for me, which did not result in the full pin there, which was they called it a torture rack superplex, which was reversed almost into, it was like a Death Valley driver setup. I called it an angle slam Spanish fly combo or an angle fly. Or maybe a Spanish slam, but that doesn't really work as well. I like the angle fly. That was brutal. And the fact that it didn't result in the end of the match is ridiculous for these two.
no. And then, of course, like what we did get for the ending of this match is like Gravity and Loco go up. Gravity hits a Samoan drop off the middle rope, and then he hits the splash for the pin. I was just like, now, see, this was the opening match, and I was like, best match. Looking back on it, I'm like, this would have been match of the night, but no, this was a close second though. But
to the second match of the night,
like, I understand. Okay, like first match was great. This one, the second match, me and JVL probably can agree on this. Is like this Pure Rules match between Silas Young and Josh Woods was our match of the night, like hands down. I wish it got more time, but it is what it is.
Psychologically tough as nails, two guys there that know each other. Great storytelling there. Back and forth on people that know how to counter each other's moves. There was some really good in-ring psychology with Silas getting Josh Woods to use the first rope break, which he has not done his entire run in this Ring of Honor and any of the pre-rules match. He's never been the first to use a rope break. And they were trading back hard blows and chops, laughing it off with each other, egging each other on. It was just so beautifully put together as two men who know each other so well, being tag partners, doing this with each other as well. And close to my move of the night, Josh Woods diving through the middle rope to break out of a wrist lock. Like, who does that? Who thinks to do that? So amazing.
I was like watching art in motion because this was art. Because, like you said,
they were two chiseled men.
Yes, on from two different eras apparently. We'll talk about it in a little bit. I mean, it is the Bi-Conics. Just saying. No, but the sequence where Silas kept going for an arm drag and then Woods trying to get him into a submission move for like 3 whole times, it was so beautiful. And then for Josh to get up and then just straight deck Silas into the face, I was just like, ooh. That sound effect, I was like, ooh, somebody lost a couple of teeth or the jaw got dislocated. I was like, ooh, that hurt to me watching it.
And I also love that in every Pure Rules match I've watched so far, I've learned more about the rules as I've gone along because they've gone and touched on every single rule. And like, you think you're done, like you understand how the match works. And then Josh goes and punches them with a closed fist. And that's a warning, which I had forgotten was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now I relearn this. Like, I am so invested in learning a new way of doing this. It's not like, Queensbury rules, or like a one-off gimmick match. Like, it's an actual division is really cool to see. And seeing people take to it.
And like you said, like that finisher was fucking gnarly. And I kind
of... The running anarchist suplex.
And I'm like, if the person trusts Josh enough, like I would like to see him use that as like the finisher when he gets desperate. It's like, forget being submissions, forget me being the technical. I need to throw people into like try to, I put this in air quotes, like not concuss, but like I need them to get dizzy for a moment so I can use that to my advantage, knock their balance off, and pin them for the win.
Who like what else would happen to you if you take a cannonball brainbuster basically to like, right into the corner? Like, this is a devastating maneuver that, yeah, you're right, should be like his last resort that he beats Shibata with when he wins the title back. Like, that's what needs to do it.
Seriously. honestly. And
My God.
like this is moved up there like originally like my most like oh my gosh devastating move that I've currently on the current product across any brand. I mean, it might be biased because I like Brody King, but Brody King's cannonballs, I'm like, look vicious as hell. But I'm like, I'm kind of gonna put Josh a little bit above that as like the most devastating finisher. That's saying something because I love me some Brody King cannonballs, but my God, this finisher by Josh was amazing. This was a fun ass like mass, like this was a fun ass match, and you know,
Well, of course it was a fun ass match because now we move on to this part. Mikey, you were not only this wasn't match of the night because of the work inside, but damn, we both kind of, and we don't like to like fully go on this, but we ogled quite a bit in this because both men were well put together. Let's put it that way. And we can definitely appreciate how those muscles were moving in tandem. It was just so, I'm seeing it in my mind now. I'm seeing each sinew going and popping in the right way as they put these devastating moves on each other and look down the camera lens and whew, just warm and so moist and fun. Sorry, I got lost in Josh Wood's ass there. Sorry about that.
I'm like, you know, me and you both, and I was just like, Josh Woods, hey, Silas Young. I'm kind of shocked, but I'm like, hey, I was like, I don't.
You want him to make you a man.
Yeah, normally I don't like toxic masculinity, but Silas Young, I'm like, at least we'll have a conversation about it.
We all have a crush on a bad boy. It happens.
I mean, I crush on Brody King hard, and he's like a big bad boy. As like curl my
So
hair.
overall, both of us, this was the match of the night in the second slot, and you would think it would have gone downhill from here as well, Mike.
That was my only problem with this match. I'm like, why'd you have to give this to a second? Like, I know you don't put it as the main event unless it's Shibata or for the title, but I'm like, really? You couldn't have put this in the middle of it? But it is what it is. But you know, that momentum kind of kept going because I like Maria Kanellis because we get a segment, like backstage segment. She's holding down the fort because the Kingdom have been sucked into the Better Than You Bebe versus generic wrestler like 55 drama that's going on right now. We're also throwing in Aussie Open for some reason. Aussie
It's the
Open
Better
is
Than You Bebe vortex. It's just sucking everybody in that from ROH and mopping that up because they need extra people on the card.
yeah.
But
No.
Maria definitely held down the fort here. She's bringing up how she needs to build an army in ROH, though
Even
we have
though
the
you
infantry to take care of the Kingdom, who are not. There was a little bit of weird math in there, but she definitely had a point where she's scouting people to bring them in to have some sort of push where she has a faction she can lead to take over ROH. And she brought up Layla Hirsch as one of those people that she scouted, and Layla comes in and interrupts her. And you think there's going to be a fight about this, and Maria's like, "No, this is about opportunity." And you've had a lot of good ones, but I'm going to give you an actual work tonight. And she sets up a match in that promo that I'm excited to see. Rachel Ellering versus Layla Hirsch, where, Mikey, if you remember a couple weeks ago, I brought up the fact that they misused Christina Marie with that shine that she had on her from hanging with Athena in that Proving Ground match. They wasted it. Whereas they should have put it on someone like Layla, who could use that rub to keep going farther as she's a machine. They're doing that now. Rachel Ellering had a great match with Athena. Make that transfer to Layla, which we'll talk about later, and bring us some fun stuff in the women's division. I was surprised. We had, within the first three things, a women's promo. Haven't seen that forever. This was surprising me, but I still wasn't ready for what Tony Khan was going to show us the rest of the evening.
Oh man, it was. I'm so happy. I said it before. I'm happy that Layla is back and that she's on Ring of Honor. Not to say that she doesn't belong in AEW, but I think she probably is better off in terms of being booked stronger on Ring of Honor because AEW is currently going through a crisis with their women's.
Well, if they had put her back in the feud she was in, she'd be with Chris Statlander on TBS, and that's going nowhere. So I'm happy she's being used the way she should be, which is showcase she's a monster. You've got Maria being her mouthpiece. I think this is a great place for her to be. It's a great position for her.
And honestly, like I've said this in other episodes too, like Maria, I trust wholeheartedly in terms of booking the women's division because she has proven that she can do very well with it. And she also she believes so strongly in women's wrestling, which you can't really say for a lot of promotions out there. And so go check out our other reviews because we're not gonna go dive deep into those.
Also, Mikey, I'm gonna spoil this. Because of the amount of women's stuff on this thing, I'm not going to go into a TK accountability corner, but I will bring up, once we've gotten through some of them, what the change is here and what I'm seeing now, which is an outside force on TK. So I'm not going to talk to TK himself, but we're going to talk about a little thing that's going to show why I'm worried about collusion, whatever that thing is that CM Punk runs, and Dynamite.
See what the professor did.
I know. But so Mikey, in that vein, we had a women's promo.
We got a women's match.
And not only, it's another proving ground with Athena.
Miss Brittany J taking on Athena. Like, we knew how this was going to end, but I didn't care.
It went the right way, though, too. There was a lot of back and forth in terms of Athena, like, basically not giving her the time of day, being her little jovial self. I love when she, like, basically bullied Riccaboni when she almost knocked over his Coke Zero, which was so close.
So rude.
That was so good. And the last little bit back and forth there, Mikey, you were talking about this where before we were talking offline, Athena's set up into the end of the thing with the giant pop-up powerbomb into that stiff forearm. Like, ooh, chills. Like, so good.
Like, Athena continues to prove, and it might just because Ring of Honor is literally built different than a lot of other promotions. Athena always uses something different depending on who the opponent is to, win her match. It's not the standard big finisher of her O face that she uses every time. Like, she will either do forearms, like she will submit people, she will do the O face as necessary. But she
won't bring it out for proving ground matches. It's not worthwhile at this point because it's a lower down the card match. She shouldn't have to win it.
And then when all else, and then when all else fails, she has to dive deep into her foundations and try to do something, because listen, this is still Ring of Honor related, because she had to pull out O-Face twice against Willow at Death Before Dishonor because it did not work the first time. And Willow...
And she got reversed against Diamante. Diamante reversed the O-Face.
That part too. So she's like, oh snaps, like I gotta be smarter with what I do and not take... What I love about this too is that we're slowly seeing Athena progress from like, there's nobody who's on my level to, holy crap, I'm kind of getting too much into it. I still want better competition. I still think I'm the best, but I think she's starting to realize, oh shit, people are now starting to call my number.
Right. And they've got some tape on me finally to actually get me this to go this long. But we get through this match, pretty standard kind of squash, not even that long for a proving ground match. And the Renegades appear to beat down Athena. So heel on heel action, which was a little strange.
See, normally I would be okay with it if like Athena and the Renegades had some sort of interaction, but at least to my memory, they really haven't crossed paths like that. And so I was like, oh, okay, sure. But then it kind of leads into what actually got me excited. And we're going to continue to see this mix of 4 women throughout the show, as well as Layla Hirsch.
Long-term like storyline across the night in the women's division?
And multiple women's storylines across the night. Unheard of. That's crazy. But the Billy Starks, the protege prodigy, like, love her to death. Just graduated high school like 2 months ago, and now she can legally wrestle on TV because, 18 and all that good stuff. Man, she comes out and she saves Athena from the beatdown with the Renegade Twitch, which, by the way, I wish the Renegades should have like continued. I know they're still learning and everything, but I was like, that beatdown was kind of weak, but it is what it was.
A little bit, yeah.
But when Billy came out for the save and then her and Athena teamed up to chase the Renegades back up the ramp, I was just like, ooh, this is going to be interesting.
Double tope from them, and Athena's in on it, and like, hey, okay, this is kind of funny.
This
pretty cool. I'm intrigued. I didn't know going into that what was going to happen the rest of the night. It really set it up really well. This is intrigue. This is women's division almost at its best starting out. Like, Tony, I hope you're listening on this. I understand partially why you're not doing it other places, but this is like, here's my rant on this. Basically, we're going to get a lot more women's matches in this evening. Tony, there have been reports now that have been not fully corroborated, but it makes sense in certain ways, that David Zaslav and WB are the ones basically telling Tony on Dynamite and on Collision, you can't have more than one women's match.
Ugh.
They're designating that for him. Tony and whoever's booking ROH approved. And commentary said this during the Billy match, like, this is our pride and joy. Women's wrestling is our pride and joy. That's great. It's not on TV. It's on ROH and it's doing great. you can do this. You've shown you are capable. You're also a billionaire. Why are you afraid of David Zaslav? Like, if they pull a little bit of funding for your stuff, if you start to book more than one women's match and show them it's doing better for ratings over time, or this type of stuff, what's the point there, Tony? Like, you shouldn't be afraid of an idiot billionaire who's ruining WB. You should be afraid of losing the fan base who are actually paying for this stuff. Yes, you're getting millions of dollars from a corporation that can't hold its own water. Like, where are you sitting, Tony? Do you really care about us? Do you not? You show you can do it. Showcase it more. But I will say this: ROH is not getting the $500,000 off that the other ones are getting for non-women stuff. There was enough in this one, and we'll get to that later. I was overly happy with the parity and equity on this show in the women's division. It was ridiculously amazing.
That was this is so good. And then the good times just kept rolling because I had so I want to preface by saying this. I was watching Ring of Honor while I was finishing decorating, cleaning up, and setting up my classroom because that starts on Monday. I've said it on.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. I said it on here before. I'm an educator, so that's what I do for full time, and then hopefully y'all love this enough for us to continue.
This is education too. We're educating people what happens.
Educating the kids about wrestling and all this stuff. But man, I had a teacher who had to come check on me because I was on the floor rolling, like not even metaphorically. I literally was on the floor laughing because of the opening promo to this next match. Samoa Joe and Stokely Hathaway taking on the boys. I already knew who was going to win. I didn't care because Stokely Hathaway was the worst decision WWE ever made when they let him go because he's fucking hilarious and I love Stokely so much. And he's like, yeah, his promo had me laughing. He talks a big game and he's like, yeah, but Joe's going to do all the work.
Yeah, I'm the Rough Rider. Joe's doing all the work as I walk down in my dollar store Killmonger outfit. And Stokely got more in there than I thought. Joe tagged him in on purpose, put him to the fire. Like, he is definitely bullying Stokely Hathaway. But,
he's stealing his lunch money.
Wrestling normally, he definitely is. Hathaway's 10 years out from wrestling, and he's still got some stuff in there. He's got some hops, got some good instincts. He really went all out in this. It was very fun to watch. And then a really good ending sequence, Mikey. I think we talked about how much I enjoyed this, where Samoa Joe has, I think, Brent in the Coquina Clutch or start of it, and is egging Stokely on, like, you got to help me here. We got to double team this. So Stokely gets up on the turnbuckle, and he goes for a flying double axe handle, which turned into a flying nothing because Joe pulled out his nope spot, where he just turns away from someone on the turnbuckle, lurched the boy around with him, and then fell into the Coquina Clutch. So Stokely face planted, and then the boy tapped out.
Oh my gosh.
Brilliant.
The nope spot always gets me, and I don't care because listen, sometimes in professional wrestling, like, there are going to be squash matches, but you want to know why I will always speak highly of squash matches? If you can make them entertaining as hell with the people involved, squash matches can sometimes actually be better than actual longer matches. And Joe to me doesn't get enough credit of like how understated his comedic timing is with everything, just in the way he presents himself. And like, the best way to describe Samoa Joe in every iteration that I've seen him across, his wrestling career is it's weird. He's like that bully that will like take your lunch money and he'll say some weird ass things to you, but but he'll end up being your friend and like he'll extort you a little bit, but he will also beat people up, be like, nah. The best way I could describe him is like, this is gonna show how young I am, and I don't know if JVL will get this reference, but
yeah, let's see. Okay,
I equate Samoa Joe's characteristics to the Gross sisters from Proud Family. They would extort. Nope. Yeah, exactly. Don't get it. Yep. So for once, I stumped JVL on it, but for those of you who know, Samoa Joe,
my daughter probably gets that.
Samoa Joe is the equivalent of like the Gross sisters from Proud Family. They'll extort the main character, but if they start messing with her, they go to all the lengths and be like, nah, you can't do this to her. That's not okay. No. And that's exactly what Joe is to Stokely.
Yeah, that's our person. I'll also say I loved the signage that was caught on camera on this one because they had Samoa Joe as my tribal chief, which Awesome. Love that sign.
Samoa
But
Joe
then we had
is
the
the
sign.
non-Roman, like the non-Samoan in that family.
Exactly. But no, then they had the other sign that was on the ramp all night that was finally caught on the camera, which, as the news dropped today was kind of interesting. There was a woman that had a thing that said protect kids, not guns, as we deal with Cash Wheeler being indicted for aggravated assault with a firearm. So,
Child, I was like, the
oh,
world was wondering, is like all in is cursed. I'm like, kind like first it was Forbidden Door last year, now it's all in. I'm like, it's just cursed.
it's cursed whenever they try to do something new. It's weird.
It's
But
crazy. I was just like, Tony Khan literally is. Tony Khan, did you make some sort of deal with like some sort of like ancient deity, spirit, demon,
yeah,
fiend,
David Zaslav.
fae? I was just like, because honestly, I was like, these big new events, the first time that you do them is like they never go well. But then, like afterwards, everything was fine. Like, because Forbidden Door 2 in June was actually really great, and nobody got sick, hurt, injured, like kind of.
Daniel Bryan got injured, or
Well,
Bryan Danielson got injured, and
but he didn't have the match pulled off the card. Like everybody remember last year's Forbidden Door, it still was great, but man, they had to find so many replacements. Like Ishii got hurt, and they had to pull
oh
him.
yeah,
People were getting sick.
I
It's
know that feeling.
it's a crazy time, but Samoa Joe, Stokely Hathaway, please don't break them up because I want more of this on my television screen.
But we've got Samoa Joe on his own next week against Shane Taylor, so that'll be a very interesting match as well. And will Stokely interfere or do something else, which will put more doubt on the entire TV championship? I'm actually interested to see what Samoa asks him to do.
Seriously, and the first half of Ring of Honor, like it kept going really, really well. Cause then we got a backstage Billy Starks interview, and which was, I mean, I have to give the Renegade Twins credit here.
Oh yeah, their promo is actually really good. They're great on the mic.
It's just I need that to translate into their wrestling ability. They're still learning, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of grace. But this face off between them and Billy, I was like, okay, we're building up to their match later tonight, so I love it. Also, I love that Mackenzie's just randomly wearing a tie with her outfits now. It's just like, I don't know what the significance of is, but I love those little nuances. I was like, I don't need to know why you're doing it, but keep doing it because it's great. I love that kind of stuff.
Good interviewing, good back and forth. It was a lot of fun. This is now two women's promos setting up two other matches, and then a women's match that wasn't set up. Like we already
Seriously.
are guaranteed three women's matches on the night so far, and we've had two women's promos. I am over the moon at this point for it. Like this is better than it has been forever. So that took us into the next match, which honestly, I mean, probably didn't need to happen on this card. It's one of the matches I probably would have pulled. It was a cool match. It was a cool idea, but I don't know that we needed to see Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal take on Gates of Agony. It put over GOA as big monsters again, which they've been doing all since forever.
Right. I honestly, like, if they wanted to build a miniature feud because you already had this team, like, I love Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal, and probably the reason why they didn't have this team I'm about to mention is probably because they were too busy living it up and bumping elbows with the Acclaimed. Honestly, Iron Savages versus the Gates of Agony, I was like, give me a round two with just these four people instead of the six man. You could still have Jack Jameson in the corner, like hyping them up and being their hype man, but
Jameson versus Nana on the outside.
oh my gosh, yes, the managerial, like,
so good. I love Iron Savages. They're one of my favorite new teams. I'm so glad they were on Collision, whatever the hell it is.
fucking Professor.
CM Punk's playground. But I missed them on this. You're right. And while I do enjoy HR Violation, Christopher Daniels, and Matt
Beating
Sydal,
up the talent.
exactly. And it was very well put together. And there were a couple of different like miscommunication spots that worked, including the Angel Wings miscommunication spot to the GOA, literally wrecking Matt Sydal. It was a match that was on the card taking up time, and I was glad to get it on there, but I didn't take a lot of notes because it was just a standard GOA match. We're going to overpower everybody. There were some brutal spots, and Prince Nana's going to get the best of things outside. So not great, but not bad. It was.
I know that, and the cool thing is I know that Matt and Chris can work with anybody. I know that their opponents are always going to be in safe hands because, as crazy as Christopher Daniels was, prime career, and we know how crazy Matt Sydal can be when given the chance.
Well, and they were a tag team in 2006, 2007 in ROH, so that was kind of cool to have them reunite for that as well. They work well together. That drop toe hold to the basement dropkick spot was really
yes. And I appreciated the ending because, like you said, it made the Gates of Agony look like complete monsters because Christopher Daniels couldn't get it done. He tags in Matt. Matt gets thrown around the ring with no offense, gets Chris back into the ring, and then Chris just eats the pin, which is actually I'm okay with because I was like, I'd rather have Chris take the pin than Matt, but it is what it is. This was a fine match. I mean, Gates of Agony are just running through everybody, so I was just like, I don't know. There's not honestly, if I don't foresee it happening, but somehow you can convince me to have Dark Order be a viable candidate to beat them for those titles. I think that would be a fun ass story. I was like, still make them kind of heelish, but underdog heels, because then
desperate, and like really dogged heels. Yeah, that could really work that way.
I would love it
Mikey,
so much.
So what you're saying is Gates of Agony, they're running through the division, they're running through everybody else. They are the food poisoning of ROH, basically.
I mean, yeah, they're making everybody sick. I don't want them to go off my screen because I love Gates and Agony. Brian Cage is also somebody who's very understated in his comedic timing too. I also love him just putting on random ass face paint now, and I'm just like, it's fine. I love it.
He's mocking Sting. It's great.
It's hilarious. And he's such a nice dude outside of the wrestling ring, out of character. Like, he's such the sweetest dude ever.
He really is.
It's so funny.
This was a match. It happened. It didn't need to. There was no furthering on this part. So it was kind of a nice little breather, I guess, there if you really didn't want to watch the big destruction. But the next match also was a bit of a breather for you.
It was another bit of a breather. And speaking of matches, that didn't necessarily need to happen. I kind of felt this way a little bit. So, Danny,
I disagree because this is another women's match that was not set up in any promos. This is the fourth separate women's match on the card. So that bumps it up for me rather than down.
Okay, so I can agree with you on that, and I'm here for supporting women's wrestling. It's just, So let's have this quick chat real quick.
Let's do it.
So Danny Moe versus Madison Rayne. Danny Moe is like the name is just like, no, I don't want to be mean because then I don't want to be perceived as attacking women. But I was like, I feel like she did the random generator on Bring the Pain or Shut Your Mouth.
Random.
She hit the randomizer button on Shut Your Mouth.
This is the best pun that came up after 4 rolls. I gotcha. Understandable.
And then she's facing off against Madison Rayne. Like, the match was fine. I mean, obviously Madison has been out with injuries, so she's still kind of working off the ring rust a little bit. I think Madison
moving as well as she was after that injury too. Like, she was moving pretty.
It was a bad injury. Like, when she went out, I was like, ooh. But I'm so happy that she's continuing. And Madison's now a coach, for AEW Ring of Honor, which I'm always here for. Man, the women booking wise is a different story, but the women have some pretty good coaches. You have Madison, you have Serena, and to a certain extent, you have Mercedes. I'm like, that's fucking 3 fantastic veteran women's wrestlers who've been doing this for a very, very long time. And they all do different styles. And it's, speaking of Mercedes, it's nice to see her get more screen time because she's kind of like she's training the next her in Diamante. And if Diamante turns into a Mercedes 2.0 or has some shades of her, oh, Diamante is going to be killing bitches left and right, and I'm here for it. But
it's going to be so good there. But Madison Rayne on this one, she had basically a squash match against Danny Moe. It was a TV match. It wasn't the best overall, but as I said before, what it made me think of was, because there were some technical aspects that were wonky, but it was trying to be a technical match for a bit. Why don't we have a women's pure division? We have enough technicians to do it. Bring Serena Deeb in as the original champion, make her the women's pure champion.
Heck yeah.
You've got all that set there to be able to do it. And this kind of proved like this is a standard TV match. The women can do everything better than men can, even the boring matches.
For sure.
Like, it was crazy. So please, like, do that. Bring them in. I think they brought up Madison Rayne because it was a hometown pop as well. So get the crowd invested. But overall, not a needed match, but happy to see a women's match that was of any type and stripe, and showcasing that, yeah, they can have kind of boring matches and still be okay with that.
Oh,
I
for
love I loved
sure.
that it was there. Loved it was there.
More women on my television screens, even if I don't agree with like who like I love Madison. I'm happy she's a coach. Her wrestling is not what I'm mad at. It's just like I never really liked her as a character by herself. Like she does better when she's bouncing off other people, like with the beautiful people in TNA and then the influence over an Impact
Yes.
as well. But
Oh, the influence who influenced the Bi-Conics.
I well, I mean, part of the reason because they had that epic feud with the Inspiration, aka formerly known as the Iconics, are really the oh my god! If we could interview them, I think I would die happy. Like, hey, I just want to let you know, not to sound creepy or anything, but you guys are like literally the reason why we started doing this to begin with.
Jesse McKay, we'd love to interview. Peyton Royce, please let us interview you. We were inspired by you to kind of follow our ourselves,
And make
and
our
this
own
is gonna
path forward.
and be weirdos. And we love you both for being weirdos. And congratulations on your families.
Yes.
Um, but we move on to our next match. We have to keep going here. This is a long show. We have a triple match or a trios match with the Dark Order coming out versus Isaiah Bronner, Corey Calhoun, and Lord Krem. Yeah.
Lord Lord Crew. But anyways, Lord Crew, fellow Latino, tattoos in the pants, be like, yes, man, I love seeing representation on television. Also, hey,
And we have Dark Order, who are becoming more and more, they're going that tweener route or that darker route and like getting really aggressive with what they're doing. I think I wrote down here, Johnny Hungy became Johnny Angry. Like it was very interesting to see them going back and forth that way. Cocky pins, really tight, like face stretches, all that stuff. And then we have a wild Stu Grayson appear during the thing without the Righteous, which was a good move. And I don't think he's as much an antagonist anymore as a driving force of the Dark Order going, is this what you want? What do you want from us? They're still not sure. And so they're becoming more and more aggressive as they're doing it to see if that's one. And Stu Grayson's loving every minute of it. It's amazing to watch this. I think there could be some great storyline potential, not with the Righteous, because with the three of those guys, it's three singles wrestlers that don't know how to do a promo together, that don't know how to work together, really just being weird in the ring. Doesn't work.
honestly, and like in a weird way, like I said earlier, because if Ring of Honor can convince me that Dark Order can be potential credible threats to dethrone them for the 6 man, I would love Dark Order to be 6 man tags. And then like if you want to add Stu Grayson gets involved somehow, and then or maybe it's like some sort of ploy where Stu Grayson is kind of rooting for the Dark Order for them to be better and cooler and it's some weird thing with the Righteous where it was like, yes, this was our master plan all along. I would be here for it. I just need the Righteous to work on some character development and pick an accent, you guys. Pick an accent.
Pick a point of view, or just have one person be your mouthpiece, because you both are just weird and it doesn't work together.
Speaking of things that don't work, this Claudio promo. This is where we're gonna kind of fight. I mean, we talked a little bit off camera, but we kind of agree on some things, but we feel differently on different levels of this. But the general consensus is, and the more that I think about it, like the promo wasn't good, but like I was like, I can't explain this feeling I have, but I think I can finally explain it. And I'm not saying it's Claudio's fault. Like I want to preface by saying Claudio as the person, I love him. I love we love Claudio Castagnoli on this channel. Like he's an amazing person outside of his character. Funny as all hell when he gets together with the crew or when he collaborates with Up Up Down Down and Chugs and all of them. Like I I want him to inject that kind of in his personality character, which is fun. But the feeling I was getting, I was like, oh my god, I think I know what this is. This promo made me a little upset because that was just like everything that you said. I'm like, this is a fucking slap in the face for all the shit that we've gone through since Ring of Honor started. I was so happy when you won the title, upset when Jericho took it from you, and kind of happy that you got it back because I know how great of a wrestler you are, but you are stuck in the BCC Blackpool Combat Club Black Hole and Dynamite, where you play second banana. Not even second banana. Lately, you've been playing third banana because Wheeler Yuta's getting more time than you, and that's saying something.
Right. And you're not defending your title at all. You're not coming back here. And he talks about that basically as in like, who cares about that? I'm better than everyone else. And he could have done that better had he leaned into that goofiness that he usually has, which is sometimes, more about um it could be an evil goofiness where like, I know I'm better than you. I laugh you off. I don't need to do anything. Like lean into that. Don't be like, I'm just better physically than you, which you are. Be something else. This is what I got from this, Mikey. I have to read these out. To start off with, why are you whispering?
I was like, what?
You're in the middle of a hallway. What are you doing there?
Sir, did you happen to go to a random back alley in the parking lot of an Applebee's or something? Like, what is happening?
Right. And then also I have to ask, is Mox bullying you? Blink twice for yes, once for no, because you
taking
seem like
more
you're
than
just
your lunch money. He's taking your answers to your homework now.
This was trying for heartfelt. It didn't get that far. It was really circular logic, saying the same thing over and over in different ways. It was really tough to listen to that. And then, Mikey, I thought I was going to vomit. Not from the promo itself, but because the camera work was all over the shop and moving around him, and I got seasick. Like, what drama this guy was on to knock him out, I have no idea, but the camera guy needed to stay still.
Sir, this is not the Blair Witch Project. This did not need to happen. Like, this is...
No.
Now, see, I was upset, but like, as you could tell, JVL is so over Claudio, and I'm kind of over it too, but this promo didn't really make me... Like, we're on different levels of mad. At least I got some address. I was like, where the hell is your main champion? Honestly, and this is going to come as a shock to everybody, but like, I want somebody to take this title off of Claudio if they want to go with what we said, my idea, like a couple weeks ago or 2 weeks or however long it was. Have Shibata be the one to take it off because Shibata's like, yo, you're not being the true Ring of Honor champion. It's a spit in the face to all of us who are actually here. Or, if you want to, like, I don't know. And this is probably not going to happen, but because, now that the G1 is over, I'm like, we're supposed to get round 2 of Eddie versus Claudio. I will take Eddie Kingston as champion over Claudio.
The BCC Black Hole, though, too. Like, that's the problem. You need people that aren't involved in Dynamite that often. And the problem is that they pulled everybody up there and they think it's showcasing the title, but the title's not being defended. It's just a prop.
The last time,
needs something there.
This is how bad it is for Claudio. Like, the last time he defended that title, and what I will say was a fun match, but he defended that title against Commander on a random episode of Rampage. Like, that was the last time we got that title defended.
I don't know, man. I can't spend more time on this because he didn't spend more time on it. I don't know what take that was, but it was a terrible take as well. And he was like Kenny Omega on Dynamite. He was memorized, but he wasn't acting. It was just bad.
And then it kind of And then it kind of
just want to wash that out of my mouth, and we can't because we move on to the next.
I was gonna say, I'm like, it just keeps spiraling out of control at this point because next we get Love Me Griff Garrison. Like, it kind of sucks that the hand that he's been dealt with Julia deciding to ditch him for spooky daddy magics over there in the House of Black, and then Brian Pillman Jr.'s contract expired. Is like, nah, I'm out. So now he's here in Ring of Honor by himself. Man, he takes on Cole Carter, and I'm just like, why? Like, who? Like, whose is this man's? Is somebody come get their child who let the child into the ring? Like,
he's edgy because he uses a K in his last name instead of a C. Meanwhile, Griff Garrison comes out to shout at the devil basically in his intro music.
Honestly, I was like, that was kind of cool. That was so cool.
But the thing I was talking about with this was that the entire match was kind of blah. Maria came out there, and I was kind of sick of listening to commentary bring this up. This sounded like a 90s era Vince storyline where he's trying to get with her, and like he thinks he's gonna have sex with her, and it's
a terrible live action version of Stacy's mom. I'm like,
it was super terrible and very icky to listen to commentary like Caprice and talk about it, and it's in this day and age it doesn't fit. And I don't see why it's being put out there, why Maria is agreeing to this, because there's nothing from it. Get Griff. Griff would be a great addition to her thing. I will say Griff should know better. The torture rack hasn't worked for anybody, including Lex Luger, for like the last 30 years. Don't put people in the torture rack because it's never going to work.
No, it's not. And I just had a horrible thought, but I'll save it for later.
No. Well, I want to know.
No, because we're on Ring of Honor. This has to talk about AEW, and that's not what we're here for.
No, it's true. It's true. But
I'll
so
tell you off camera.
Griff ends up losing to something by Cole Carter. I tuned out for this match. I didn't care. Maria appears, whispers in Cole Carter's ear, and he gives Griff respect, which was strange. And then he skips off. This isn't making sense like Layla Hirsch's with Maria, and I'm a little weirded out by it.
It is a little weird. It's literally like Hot for Teacher, like Stacy's mom, like every edgy, like every song in the '90s that Cole thinks is edgy enough is like, Cole is the embodiment of like very jock. Like I can get all the girls. Like it rubs
Yeah,
me the wrong way, and I'm just like, ew. I knew
totally.
people like you in high school, and they
All I
suck.
could think is that Cole is going to
Misogynistic.
be cannon fodder for the new Kingdom Army. He's literally going to be
As long
the
as he
feet
gets
right
his
there.
ass beat like every other week when this happens, like I'm okay with it. It'll serve his purpose. He could be the Austin Theory of the group. Just get his ass
Oh
whooped.
God, God.
Anyways, so
Clear my palate. Give me something good. Give me something worthwhile, Mikey. What do we got?
while this wasn't necessarily the best match, I will say was a lot better than what we got with the Claudio promo and Cole Carter black holeness it was. We have Billy Starks taking on Charlotte Renegade, which is like for at least this episode the culmination of what we've been seeing so far with the night with Athena and Billy and the Renegade twins. Like nothing to say.
Storylines
Yep.
wrapping up. You know, I hate the term prodiget that they keep using. I think it's
Just
stupid.
say Prodigy.
She's really you can. It's really easy. I will say I also love Billy's playing up some of her kidness though, where she does a taunt like a little kid on the playground, like hey by the ropes to make Charlotte go flying over.
She does it because the twins do it too. It's just like that's.
And while the Charlotte Renegade isn't the best in the ring, both of them aren't the best in the ring. I will say their fish hooking and like gouging is
Right?
really, really disgusting. It's really good there. And Billy sold it with like up her nose and stuff. That was really cool.
I was like, that's why I wasn't as mad at this match. I was just like, this was again the Renegades. I still think need a little work on the ring, but you know
They
what?
can't interfere the right way. Like Stefan's, you can see that.
No, like it's which is weird because I'm like their promo skills are pretty decent. Like if they get more, if they fine tune that, like their promo skills could be a lot of fun. I just need that promo skills to correlate to equal or like at least somewhere on the same level in terms of in ring work and psychology. I know they're still learning because and
Yeah.
and I actually like the Renegade Twins in the sense that I think they bring something different, and I would love to see them like eventually do really, really well. It's just that right now they're kind of as far as like they work good as a team for the most part, but the singles action still needs a little work.
Well, and I think you shouldn't focus on them for singles right now. If you're going to put them as a team like this, they're not the Bella Twins. They're not going to do that well. Put them as
No,
a tag team.
then again, I was just
Work
like, we don't. What? There's no other women tag teams right now. Well, I mean, until we get to the ending of later of what
this
happened.
match.
Yeah, it's like it. This is the ending of this match started it, and then we get a whole segment a little bit later. But Billy Starks beats Charlotte.
You want my move of the night though?
Go for it.
Move of the night?
Yes.
It was in this match. It was the straight jacket Styles clash where she had her pinned all the way back, and it was a full on flatline. That was brutal. Billy Starks, like you are amazing and really can pull things off the best way. And I give full credit to Charlotte Renegade for taking that full on because that would looked painful.
I was just like, oh my gosh.
Oy. And then Athena runs in to stop the Renegades from beating up Billy for winning, which no time at all they were beating her up. Doesn't even take off her belt. She just gets into it while wearing the title. It was so cool.
I loved it so much. Like, again, the Renegade Twins need to work, but this served a purpose of setting up more storylines and more women's
Athena calling Billy her minion?
Like that was crazy. Like we'll get into all of that. But so after this, we get a quick like backstage interview with Mackenzie and she's talking to Tony Nese. And just I was like, I can smell the bullshit from a mile away, but I'm here for it. And he's like, yeah. I was like, I was told, and I got it cleared that we're gonna have this group workout. And I was like, I could smell the bullshit, which we'll get into later because Jerry called that bullshit out immediately, and it was hilarious. But it's really cool because I'm like, I love, you know, this faction. I'm also glad that Josh is now kind of on a singles run right now, which is cool. But we'll get into Tony Nese a little bit later. Cause then we got into, I'm like, is Big Bill busy? Like, what is happening right now? Cause next up we have Tyga Style himself, Mr. Lee Moriarty, and the workhorseman of all people, versus Darius Martin, Action Andretti, and Lee Johnson. Okay, so I like 5 out of these 6 guys in this ring. Like, it's no secret. It's no secret. I don't hate the 6 person, but I was just like, bro, like we need to get something. We need to we need to talk cuz like, sir, you're not helping that JD Drake has to carry you in the tag team format, and then both him and Lee had to kind of carry you through this 6-man tag. And of course, Darius Action Lee, like I already know what to expect with you. This was fine. This was fine.
It was okay. It honestly, another match we probably could have cut off the night and been okay with. JD Drake, the drill bit was awesome. That drill bit move is ridiculous.
JD keeps impressing me. I was like, you're kind of making me like you more and more every time I see you on my screen, bro.
Anthony Henry, I thought in this entire match basically was a dime store Josh Woods mixed with a really buff footballer on a championship league, not even Premier League, championship league team, who's being relegated. Like, your personality is douche.
He literally is.
Or to quote the Barbie movie, your job is douche. Like, you don't do anything well. But you're not a jack of all trades to do everything kind of okay. You're just there to fill in the gap and get beat up. And I know that you probably have a lot more to give, but somehow in this role, you are just floundering. And I don't get why each week, but you just bore the hell out of everyone that's in there and you bring everyone around you down. You need a refresh. You need something to like reset us to care about you because you do have some skills. I'm pretty sure you do. You're literally you're not a jobber, but you're close.
Yeah. And I mean, and the other thing about this match too that I was kind of surprised was I was just like, this was the ending to this match. I was like, I was kind of not expecting the way it went down because, so Dante eats a massive twisted butterfly suplex from JD, which was
the drill bit.
Yeah,
that's the drill bit.
Yeah, so the technical terms, but oh my god, it's such a beautiful thing. But of course, Andretti breaks it up, and then all of a sudden, Andretti countered into an O'Connor roll with the bridge and got the pinfall on JD. I was like, whoa.
Well, no, that wasn't JD. That was Henry. Because Henry.
Oh, sorry, that's right. Yeah, Henry.
Henry was going for a chaos theory German suplex, but he was too close to the ropes, and Andretti got into a bridged pin out of the O'Connor roll. It was a cool little sequence there.
I was not expecting it.
Sidebar.
Uh-huh.
Can I please have a JD Drake versus Gringo Loco match?
Honestly, because JD be flying like he is a luchador, and I'm here for it.
It would be amazing. That would be a cool opener to have, and have like Anthony Henry like prancing around at ringside, like messing things up. That's fine. That's what he's good at, like getting heat that nobody cares about.
And then
listen, we didn't need this match.
The battle of the white boys. Give me the white boy I don't care about versus the white boy I want ROH to sign all the time, because Gringo Loco is, oh my god, his match with Speedball Mike Bailey, like not that long ago. Ooh, child,
it could be fun. But Mikey, we have another women's promo.
Oh my god,
this match. What is going on?
Okay, I want to preface by saying this. These next 4 things that we're going to talk about are all women's wrestling related, you guys. Like, what is happening?
I don't know. I'm overjoyed with this completely.
I may have cried a little bit because I'm like, oh my god, after everything that I've been subjected to this week with women's wrestling, like, thank you, Ring of Honor. I still have issues with some of it, but thank you so much.
I want to actually time how much time the women got tonight, because I think it's more than the average for the last year of all women together.
So this is what we're going to do. This is our extra credit assignment for this. When we watch Ring of Honor and review it for next week, we're going to time how long the women, like from matches to promos, even quick vignettes and segments, we're going to calculate the total time that the women are on our television screens.
And they'll have all those because Ring of Honor has done amazing with that this time. Something finally changed over there.
All right,
And that's
Athena.
why
Yeah,
I talked about this earlier. It's got to be Zaslav and WB on top of Tony Khan with the other stuff saying we don't want women involved. And it's terrible.
seriously. But you know what? Ring of Honor, like, we may complain about how long the card is. We may complain of like lack of stories are kind of there, but you are slowly getting there. And I mean, you do have a long time before final battle at the end of the year, so we should be okay. But uh Athena's interview, she brings not even half, like, she brings in Billy to begin with. Oh my god, this was
And
so great.
calls her minion 400,237. I wrote it down.
Yes.
I love that that's her number.
Yes.
And Billy sets up a tag match with the Renegades, and Athena's like, no, you don't get to set that.
I do.
We're going to hang out and you're going to take me to the mall. I set this stuff up. You're going to take me to the mall, right, Lexi? Right. Yeah, totally. No,
Because Lexi doesn't want to fight Athena, which is also great because we're continuing with Athena. Be like, Lexi, if they don't give me more, the talent, I was like, you're the only one I haven't faced left. And Lexi's like, oh, girl, I'm not trying to die. What's happening?
Well, and that's the best thing is that Lexi sees her being happy now because she's got a minion to fuck with. Like, this is crazy. This is insane.
Honestly, like, Final Battle is a long ways away, but like, even if we don't get it at Final Battle, like, over the next couple of weeks, like, if it eventually leads to Billy, like, listen, I'm sick of yo shit, Athena. Like, we need to fight this out, girl. I'm tired of you belittling me and mistreating me. I would love it if Athena took like the story beat of making like treating Billy like crap, and then like, all right, girl, I'll give you a chance and not take her seriously, and then she actually wins the proving ground match next time they fight
because she's been studying her the whole time, picks up everything from her, watches her in her matches.
Because like they're always now in close proximity now. Yes, give it to me now. But this was hilarious.
I could also see Athena and Billy versus Mercedes and Diamante down the line would be amazing.
Please do it. But yeah, love Athena. Be like, all right, Billy, go get my car.
So we got the promo. We got the promo with the minion. I'm waiting to see more of this. This is going to be great next week. And then we have another match.
A women's match, which actually was kind of cool. I loved it.
2 entrances. It wasn't a squash. It was Lady Frost versus Trish Adora.
Listen, I love me some Lady Frost. I love Trish, and this was oof. Lady Frost looked great in this match, and that's
except for a couple stumbles on a couple flips, but she did pretty well.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, the fact that she started wrestling so late in the game and she's out here actually doing fantastic, even though being told by certain companies she's too old to do this. I was just like,
ones we don't talk about on here
exactly
at all.
And of course, I love Trish. I really do. And honestly, I'm okay with her losing this match.
That shoulder wrench that Trish, where she split down on top of her and pushed Lady Frost down, damn, like on both of them, it was crazy. Also, Lady Frost twerking, kind of funny.
She's also another one where like, the comedic timing is so great, and I love wrestlers that don't take themselves too seriously during matches all the time. I was like, if you can give me like the comedy of house shows during my actual like mainstream wrestling, like, everything would be so much more fun. But
so much more fun. Lady Frost ends up winning this, though. Lady Frost pulls out the win over Trish Adora, which I was completely surprised about.
I know.
And does she have a name for her finisher like that one? Because I was trying to come up with it thinking about the Black Arrow with Pac, and I was like, oh, the Black Icicle.
So,
but I think it's called Frostbite.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Like, yeah, that's what I don't know if they said it, but again, because I'm the mark that I'm the only mark in the Bi-Conics that
you're Mike. You're Mike.
I'm also known as Mark to some people because I got to experience Lady Frost in Impact Wrestling, so I got to see her the Frostbite in action, which was great. But
Trish took it really well. You were saying you couldn't see Trish's dollar bill on her leg, but it was there the whole time. Almost came out of the side of her tights this time. So I'm wondering if there's going to be one where it's going to pop out or someone's going to take it. But
that would be really interesting. See, I kind of want that to happen because then I want Trish to explain, why does she keep that dollar bill? I was just like, it's like one of the 7 wonders of the world that I want answered. Questions I have.
But we also have someone answering some questions and going back to an old thing in the promo right after this, which is the reason Lady Frost won.
Because my girl, Kiara Hogan, is back on my television screen after taking some time off after that beautifully insane match street fight that she had with Athena for that title back in
Which
June.
she ran down during her promo about, like, we went here, I did pretty well. I went to a
She
deep place.
earned my respect, and she earned the respect of everybody in that audience and the Ring of Honor people that all the Ring of Honor fans that watch. Like, I have been following Kiara for so long, and now it's nice to finally see that somebody is using her properly. And
she's going back to her fiery side to take on the
I need
Frost.
Fire Kiara back from Fire and Flava. I was like, yes. I love this version. This has been always my favorite version of Kiara because she's like, I'm a bad bitch and I'm gonna beat a bitch up. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I need.
Next week too. We know we're gonna have at least one women's match already set for next week. This is pre-booking.
I need 10 minutes. Well. Give these 10 minutes. These girls have fought in Impact already before, and their matches have been beautiful. I just give them time,
please. This will be spectacular. I cannot wait for next week for this. I am so happy.
And then I almost
this entire show made me happy. And oh my god,
this next match almost literally made me cry. And like I almost got checked on. Are you okay? No, I'm watching amazing women's wrestling because Rachel Ellering versus legit Layla Hirsch. Holy shit! I'm like, sign Rachel right now. Just saying. I'm gonna keep saying it. Sign her now.
Do it. Sign her now. And you did the right thing here. You had a tough match back and forth with Layla and with Rachel, putting the shine from Athena onto Layla as the killer she is. This was a back and forth, beating down the arm, breaking things here. Rachel actually helped Layla with the size difference look smoother than she probably ought to have been at that point. And Layla just coming across as both uninterested but also clinical was so fun to watch this. I mean, the whole thing where like watching Rachel Ellering have to muscle Layla up into a brain buster, like, and you can see how strong she is and taking that through. And I saw also it was Smile Style is her kind of little thing she's got there. Stick her with Willow and have them be Smile Style as a tag team.
Oh my gosh, yes, I'm already here for the nay.
And also we had the second flying octopus Fujiwara armbar in as many days.
This was awesome. Like I'm like foaming at the mouth here because of how great this match was, and these two are amazing.
And Layla's going to be unstoppable with Maria in her corner doing that stuff for her because with her
as she should be.
It's going to be so good. I didn't have enough notes on this because I really enjoyed watching it, and it was made me happy to have that many women's segments in a row set up this amazing match. And this was set up earlier in the night. This was something that was going. It
was a follow through. Yeah.
This is how you book your women's division. This is how you book any division. You make intrigue that people want to watch.
So good.
Then my comedy match of the night.
God.
Because who better to outflaunt Dalton Castle
than pretty Peter Avalon?
I have missed you so much.
I don't think people understand like the importance of comedic wrestlers in professional wrestling because I knew anytime pretty Peter Avalon was in a match, I'm like, oh, you about to get thrown around the ring. You're going to lose, but it's going to be a great time. And this is exactly what I wanted. And who do you put the absurdity of pretty Peter Avalon against, but the other most absurd character Ring of Honor has right now in Dalton Castle?
My daughter sat down to watch this with me because she saw Dalton Castle's entrance and was like, who is that? Dalton
Castle is like the most understated, but like overstated. Like it is the most homoerotic, gayest. Like it's literally the professor would love this because I bring this up because he was in Legally Blonde. Dalton Castle is the embodiment of is he gay or European from the Legally Blonde musical.
So whole. It so is. I also love in his intro and in his entrance, he brings up the Price of Honor Club, which Mikey, we had to talk about that a couple days ago. That's even funnier. But then that he's free to watch, and then the commentator's like, but wait, you're still an honor club, so how is it still free for that? They're trying to do the calculus that isn't working, and Dalton's already like getting in the ring. It was just so good. I love that they bring up beach wrestling. Like I learned more about other forms of wrestling in these things where like the real thing, like beach wrestling versus Greco-Roman versus all these things. And in a Dalton Castle match of all places.
Dalton Castle's in-ring banter is on the same level of MJF's like telling, because I had to pause because I was dying of laughter of the audibles that got picked up with Dalton. Like when
I'm going to set this ring on fire.
That part, but like the
Yelling
one that
fire in a theater.
the one that got me the most is when Avalon like was trying to escape Castle's grasp. Like I had to pause after I heard what Dalton said because I was dying of laughter. But he's like, "You wiggle away from me again, and I'll rip your face off."
Yep. Oh my
I
god.
had to pause because I was like, "What the hell, Dalton?" Like, God, Dalton Castle. Literally, if they ever make a Nacho Libre 2, put Dalton Castle in.
He'd be the perfect one. Like, and they were talking about how like he was the trending thing on their Reddit feed for his entrance was last time. He's
Reddit.
getting over again. It's so good. I loved his tilt-a-whirl T-bone suplex. That was
Oh
crazy.
my gosh! Like, and
And then
honestly, yeah.
yeah. And then the bangerang went on forever tonight. Like it just was insane to watch him pull that off. He yelled peacock power as he was running to a running knee, and I'm like, yep, that's giant dick energy right there. That's great. And I love him saying afterwards, after the match, he's like, I'm gonna win so much and break so many hearts.
I was just like, again, Dalton Castle he is the wrestling character we don't deserve. Like, honestly, and like when Ring of Honor first came back and then Ian and Caprice filled us in, like Dalton almost had to give it up because he wasn't sure when he got his back injury because like he was told that he couldn't anymore. And he was like, maybe I think it's time to give it up. But then, through whether through hard work and whatever Dalton Castle subscribes to in terms of like
the power of the peacock,
the spiritual aspects of things. I legit mean this from the bottom of my heart. I love seeing wrestlers being able to continue to do what they do, even after something
at a high level,
at a high level like that. And honestly,
and make rednecks uncomfortable in the front row with somebody behind him with a "Give us Dalton Castle" peacock sign.
yes,
That was hysterical.
I loved it so much. And honestly, I would be okay if Dalton is the one to take the title off Samoa Joe because I think it would be fucking hilarious to have him as your television champion.
Have him take it off Claudio. Give us a comedy ROH champion.
Honestly, like just give him a singles belt. That's all I want. Like,
not the pure title. I don't think he's ready for the pure title. He's not pure. He's very impure.
I mean, I like Dalton Castle, but like the technical aspects that you need for a pure rules match, I don't want to say he can't do it. But if he tapped into the technical side and proves me wrong, like just the fact of the sheer comedy between. Listen, if Daniel Garcia versus Shibata can make me fucking laugh hysterically while also appreciating wrestling, if Dalton can do the same thing, Shibata versus Dalton will be a riot.
Daniel Garcia versus Dalton.
Oh my gosh, give it to me now. Forbidden Door 3, like Dalton Castle and versus Daniel Garcia versus Orange Cassidy versus whoever you want to throw in there. Like those three alone, those four. Oh my god, yes. Okay, sorry, we're getting off track. So the semi last thing we got Shane Taylor Productions in the building.
It was but it was tough. It wasn't a great promo either. Like this is one of the ones where he was memorized, not doing it. It got enough across where you're saying like the new guard. I've never been given a chance as the new guard. We're all back to the old guard again. It's a great sentiment, but he just didn't make me think he's gonna win. Like it just feels like there's nothing there.
Honestly, if he was more on fire, I was like, you're not winning this because Samoa Joe's trying to break that Jay Lethal record. So no. I still think it's going to be a fun match next week, but it is what it is.
Willie Mack would have been more fun.
We
have our final of the night. Tony Nese thinks he's getting Mark Sterling's promise. He's getting 10 minutes to get people up and get them moving. And the crowd again is getting up sort of and starting to do the stuff. And you were dying when Caprice started doing the
oh my gosh. Like, listen, I don't care what nobody says. Like, we watch a lot of wrestling here at the Bi-Conics, and I will forever and a day die on this hill, but Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman are the best commentary duo across any of the wrestling shows right now.
100%.
Caprice's antics just alone is like has me howling with laughter, and the facial expression he made when he did the stretching, he's so overacting. I love it so much. And then Ian's just looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? It's so good.
You can tell Tony Nese and whoever he's working with really do their diligence to find ways to get cheap heat for the hometown heat. I love how far they go with this. And I also love they name checked the Cruiserweight Championship in this match. because of who's involved. Like they actually name checked the other companies. They went after each other in a cruiserweight tournament. Like you said, cruiserweight. That's crazy. Tony Nese also. I'm sorry, Bryan Danielson's jumping jack taunt is better than yours.
Honestly,
overall, sorry.
And then, of course, as Tony Nese is getting ready to do this, like, Jerry Lynn comes out is like, this is in the best way that I could possibly, like, do this. Like, Jerry Lynn is like a Southern dad. He's like, I smell some whole shit. I was just like, this is some bullshit, sir. I was just like, but you know what? I do got something for you. Somebody from a blast from your past. And I was like, I think I know where we're going with this, but let's see. And who should come out but Metalik? God, I love him.
I think may have actually like injured himself in this match because of that moonsault to the outside where he clipped him with his shin. That was bizarre. I will say, there were a lot of this was a good back and forth. They definitely knew each other well enough. They felt good enough to go fast at it. It was really interesting to see them work both styles and Middle East getting some big offense.
Woo.
Loved that Tony Nese has gotten the Waffle House chant over, which then, because they were in the Carolinas, morphed into a Bojangles chant, which is even funnier. So I'm waiting to see, as they go along in different cities, which fast food restaurant's going to be the next one that gets put up there.
Have a Waffle House sponsored match, honestly. Bring in the girl who deflected the chair.
Oh my God, yes, that'd be perfect.
Have her be the special guest. Have, I know we're not supposed to trade refs, but have Aubrey be the ref for that match and have like Waffle House hero girl be in attendance. That'd be hilarious.
Or do a pre-taped fight in a Waffle House.
Honestly, listen, because okay, this is really, really bad. So normally, if it's done right, I really enjoy like really hokey, stupid matches. Like, I still think the New Day's like Miracle on 34th Street fight was hilarious, as well as the Halloween match they had against the Revival was fucking hilarious. I think if it's pre-taped or in the ring, have a street fight, but every weapon is like some sort of food. And make it like half and half, where half of it is like healthy food. I would love to see a carrot stick like trying to be stabbed in somebody's eye.
The calorie collision.
Literally have cheeseburger pop out of nowhere and hit Tony Nese with the cheeseburger.
He gets hash browns to the face.
Yes. The Waffle House street fight. There we go. Book it, Jerry Lynn and Stokely. Gotta
happen. But so Metalik ends up winning this match with a modified Michinoku driver after a couple big flips, big everything else. He even with the hurt foot was still taking Nese to the cleaners there. The right person won. I'm glad Metalik won. Nese can't buy a win lately though, and as much as he's getting over, he needs a couple to be.
He needs a win for sure.
But not the best way to close out the night. It was fun. I feel like there could have been a couple matches that literally could have been moved in different places. Even the Rachel Ellering match, put that at the end there with Layla Hirsch and have that be the closer.
Honestly, but like, give me what?
Dalton Castle's one should have been actually, but
honestly, anytime Dalton Castle's a hoot, like as short as it was, like I loved his 6-man tag that Dalton had against the Trust Busters. Like, if it only means like give me more of Sunny Kiss, I love her so much. Give me Sunny so much, but
we need a new faction like Dalton Castle, Sunny Kiss, Peter Avalon. Like we'll call it Camp. It'll be ridiculous.
I want more screen time for these three. Like Dalton, like it's like Camp and the boys.
Always boys camp.
I mean that again. Dalton Castle, Pretty Peter Avalon, and Sunny Kiss with the boys is the most homosexual, like gender fluid. Like it is the most queerest thing on the planet, and I'm here for it. Give it to me now, Ring of Honor.
And then we do the other side. So across the lake, you've got Kiera Hogan, Layla Hirsch, you've got Diamante, and a couple other ones where it's the girls' camp.
Oh my gosh! Give me a pre-tape like
Mercedes.
Like, give me a pre-tape like summer camp fight between the boys and the girl. Again, if I'm like one of the few people that likes really stupid, hokey, like comedy matches, and I feel like we can still do those. It's just people don't
be like the final deletion, but campy.
Yes, like all of the. Okay, I don't know how you are into like how far of a wormhole you are into the drag scene, but like have these group of fight at on the grounds where they filmed the YouTube competition show Camp Wanakiki. Like,
Okay, yes. Yeah, that is we have to put Tony, you've heard us now. 3 weeks. This is happening, right? This is happening in 3 weeks, right?
like have the host of Camp Wanakiki be the like the refs.
Love it. Mikey, overall, we've come to the end of the show. We've had a good up and down here. What are you rating the show? What are you rating ROH for the 17th of August?
You know, I'm gonna give this a solid like 7.5. Now, I give this a solid 7.5 because overall, I actually did enjoy the episode. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'm not sure if it really needed to be 2 hours and 14 minutes long. I'm just saying, but you know, but I love that a lot of the angles that we got between, you know, the wrestlers, both on the men and women's side, were advanced. And I thought overall, pretty much the majority of the matches outside of a couple few ones were pretty good. I am also giving Ring of Honor a little bit of grace because I think they're still trying to find the balance with the shows. You know, now that Ring of Honor you can't spread the Ring of Honor matches out to like things like Dark and Elevation anymore. So like all the people that were there trying to find a spot for them across all the other brands. And I also appreciate that, you know, there are Ring of Honors getting these, like, I say newer in air quotes because some of them are older, but like new faces to, you know, rise to the top and getting them onto it. And also, you know, you still got your bigger stars trying to advance. So I honestly thought this was a good showing for Ring of Honor. Despite my gripes, I don't know if it's because everything else was shit this week so far, but like honestly, this was definitely this was probably so far my favorite weekly show this week. Maybe NXT is a close second.
I would fully agree with you on this one that this was my favorite show of the week so far. Overall. I'm going to give it so it would be a solid 6.5 minis. I would give that right now. Between, you know, could have been 7 with if Claudio's promo had been better and like actually addressed some stuff, and I didn't get seasick from it. But overall, like it had a lot of like same things you said. They set up a lot of good storylines. Things were progressed in the night. Like it was a cool thing to see. Like you had to tune into the whole night to see everything, and there was parity and equity. This was great. Continue that as well. That's why it's so high for me. But Mikey, I can't give it a 6.5. I'm taking a half off, and not the usual, which I said for all the TK stuff, you get a half a mini off just for the fact that you can't book the women's division. That's going to stay for AEW Collision and hey, I got it right, and Rampage and all that stuff, but not for this. They're getting a half a mini off because Iron Savages wasn't booked on the show.
How dare them? How dare them?
Jerry Lynn. They are amazing in their
and I mostly blame you, Stokely Hathaway and Jerry Lynn, because Maria's actually kind of Maria is killing it in the women's.
Maria's killing it. She's killing
it. But Stokely Hathaway and Jerry Lynn, I have beef with you because how dare you not put our boys? Though, if you give them time and you still give them pretty high profile matches, like when you loaned them to Collision against the Acclaimed of all people. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying the Acclaimed or Iron Savages is bad, but they gave them time.
And they worked it.
Oh my gosh, all 3 of them killed it. And Beefcake.
So Mikey, Beefcake
is
oh my god, Beefcake is ridiculous. Like it's just
his facial expressions during the rap killed me. He's like, so good.
I'm gonna kill you. No, but so that brings it down to a 6 minis out of 10, but still one of the best ROH ones we've had in a while without setting up for pay-per-view, and better than AEW Dynamite, and I'm assuming better than Rampage tonight, and probably gonna be better than Collision. We'll see. But I don't know. But that's Mikey. That's where we've been with that. So they can find us on all the socials at bcwrestlepod.com, correct?
At BC WrestleProds across Twitter /X, Threads, Instagram, the TikToks as well. I know TikTok has kind of been weird a little bit because, you know, reasons, but we are slowly uploading things now that we got this awesome new clips that I was able to create from our NXT review. I'm telling you guys, it's about to get buck wild. But
I believe it. And we have a clip from a pre-record of this that we're going to be putting up, hopefully, onto that as well. But so they can find us there. They can find you at Pop Culture Geek, right?
Yep. You can find me at Pop Culture Geek. You can find JVL here at the JV Lexicon on Instagram. So make sure to say hi to us. And
and leave a comment on this video, on all of our videos, subscribe and share. Let us know you're watching, what you want to change, what you like, whether you're also an Iron Savage, because we definitely are, and how much women's wrestling means to you, because we want to hear about that. So please tell us all about that. Engage with us. We want to be in front of as many people as we can, spreading our message, but also talking and educating and just being overall dorks like we are. But please, we love that you're watching, that you're listening. Continue to do so. We do this for you, and we need your help. So please do that there. And please let Mikey feel the love, because Mikey makes this place run. Tell him that you love him. Tell him you want to take him home. Tell him that he's your Iron Savage every day of the week, and you need a lot of metal from him.
And on that lovely note,
for the Mikey, for JVL, this has been the Bi-Conic Review of Honor, or the Bro, and we'll close out the match as we started it. The Code of Honor has been accepted. See you next week.